On June 27, 2025, the U.S. Supreme Court handed down its decision on a case involving President Trump's executive order, which aims to challenge the prevailing interpretation of the Citizenship Clause of the 14th Amendment to the U.S. Constitution in order to end birthright citizenship in the U.S. for children of illegal immigrants as well as immigrants legally but temporarily present in the U.S., such as those on student, work, or tourist visas. Ano bang ibig sabihin nito? Kung ikaw ay isang US and Philippine dual citizen, will you be affected by this? Dapat ka bang mangamba? Just a caveat, I am a Philippine lawyer and I'm not licensed to practice law in the US. This video is not intended to give a legal advice, but only for informational and educational discussion purposes. Please consult a lawyer in your place for your specific legal concerns. First, we need to know what the Supreme Court ruling is all about. Then, let us find out kung ano naman ang nakasaad doon sa executive order that is being challenged. The Supreme Court decision has ruled only on the question of the power of the U.S. federal courts to issue nationwide injunctions to block the order from taking effect. Kung inyo pong maalala, may mga nagsampa po ng kaso to challenge the constitutionality of the executive order issued by President Trump. And there were 3 federal district court judges who issued nationwide injunctions against Trump's order. But the Supreme Court said that universal injunctions likely exceed the equitable authority that Congress has given to federal courts. That means to say that it is not within the power of the federal court to issue such a nationwide injunction against the executive order issued by the president. So it is considered as a win for the Trump administration. They are saying that in those states na walang injunction, tuloy ang pag-implement ng challenged executive order, meaning the crackdown of illegal immigrants. The injunction benefits only those who challenged the executive order. But the U.S. Supreme Court decision did not rule on the merits of the birthright citizenship order of President Trump. It was not an issue before the Supreme Court. Such question is still being argued in the federal district courts, and it will take time before such question will reach the Supreme Court. In the meantime, it is feared that the executive order will be enforced in those states that did not participate in the lawsuit. Yung mga walang injunction order na na-issue. But what does the challenged executive order really say? Ano ba ang birthright citizenship na sinasabi sa EO na ito? Saklaw ba nito ang mga former Filipinos who were naturalized in the US and subsequently reacquired their Philippine citizenship under RA 9225? Ang birthright citizenship po ay tumutukoy doon sa mga ipinanganak sa US of Filipino parents under the principle of jus soli. Kung ikaw ay ipinanganak sa US of Filipino parent or parents, you are considered as a US citizen. You become a citizen of the country where you were born. Yun po ang principle of jus soli. But remember, in the case of children of Filipino parents, they are also considered as Filipino citizens dahil ang Pilipinas po ay sumusunod naman sa principle of jus sanguinis. Ito yung citizenship by blood. The child follows the citizenship of the parent or parents. That is why the child becomes a dual citizen by birth, citizen both of the United States and of the Philippines. The other term for this is dual citizenship by operation of law. Since the executive order applies only to birthright dual citizenship, it does not apply to dual citizens under RA 9225, meaning to the former natural-born Filipino citizens who acquired the U.S. citizenship by the process called naturalization and thereafter reacquired their Philippine citizenship through RA 9225. Kung kayo po yun, ang tawag po sa inyo ay dual citizens by choice. So, ano ang risk for those who are birthright dual citizens? If you look at the U.S. Constitution, specifically the 14th Amendment, nakasaad po dito na all persons born or naturalized in the United States and subject to the jurisdiction thereof are citizens of the United States and of the state wherein they reside. Ayon po sa Trump administration, the 14th Amendment has never been interpreted to extend citizenship universally to everyone born within the United States. Meaning, hindi porke ipinanganak ka sa US, ay US citizen ka na agad. He says that the 14th Amendment has always excluded from birthright citizenship persons who were born in the United States but not subject to the jurisdiction thereof. Base sa interpretation na ito, sinasabi ng executive order na the privilege of the U.S. citizenship does not automatically extend to persons born in the U.S. 1. When that person's mother was unlawfully present in the United States and the father was not a United States citizen or lawful permanent resident at the time of the said person's birth. Or 2, when that person's mother's presence in the United States at the time of the said person's birth was lawful but temporary, such as but not limited to visiting the United States under the auspices of the Visa Waiver Program or visiting on a student, work, or tourist visa. And the father was not a United States citizen or lawful permanent resident at the time of the said person's birth. This means that, based on the interpretation mentioned, if a child was born in the U.S. of Filipino parents who were there on work visa, the child did not automatically become a U.S. citizen. The child is only a Filipino citizen, not a dual citizen by birthright. If this executive order is to take effect, marami po ang maapektuhan. That is the reason why this executive order is now being challenged before the courts for being unconstitutional. Those who argue against the executive order believe that eventually the Supreme Court likely would find it unconstitutional. They argue that while the idea was to grant citizenship to those freed slaves, the 14th Amendment also forms the basis of the long-standing policy of the United States of granting birthright citizenship to anyone born on American soil. As I have said, the battle is still before the federal district courts, and it will take time before it would reach the Supreme Court. In the meantime, in those states where the order is not being challenged and there is no injunction issued, maaring nanganganib ang mga nasa nabanggit na kalagayan, particularly those children of migrants who are in the U.S. illegally or on temporary visas. I hope that I was able to give clarity on this pressing issue of the day. Please feel free to leave your views or reaction in the comment section below. For those who have not subscribed to this channel yet, please feel free to do so and make sure to hit the notification bell icon so that you will get notified of our future videos. Always remember, ignorance of the law excuses no one from compliance therewith. I will see you in my next video. Ingat po kayo.